Do, 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 do. Some turn to Dustin to go. Alright guys, so what is up? I'm just gonna act like I'm a famous YouTuber right now, and that a lot of people actually listen to me and watch my videos. That being said, as you may not have heard, remember me for centuries. In case you live under a rock, that commercial with that song has been airing on ESPN for about 6 months now. The question was, who's in? Now we have that question answered. The college football playoff has narrowed down to just 4 teams. It's over. I always do that, man. What is wrong with me? The college football playoff has narrowed down to 4 teams. So in the Rose Bowl, you're going to have Oregon and Florida State. Number two Florida State, and number 2 Oregon, and number 3 Florida State. Now, in the other game, you're going to have in the Sugar Bowl, All-State Sugar Bowl, you're going to have Alabama and Ohio State. So Ohio State and Alabama, I'm going to get to that one because that's like the matchup everybody's talking about. I got a news for that one too. But anyways, so Oregon and Florida State. Why is the Rose Bowl significant for Florida State? Because Florida State beat Auburn last year for the national championship, the final year of the official BCS. My hands look real crippled right there, by the way. But, I mean, by the way, I'm using a Georgia Public Broadcasting cup with my short pinky. This milk is good. My predictions for this game, and I'm going to tell you why they stand that way. I'm going to try to make this video short and sweet. Oregon Ducks have possibly one of the best offenses we have ever seen in college football history, with the new Heisman winner Marcus Mariota at their guns. Going to the bank, and I got to get my quarterback. Anyways, for Florida State, they've got a decent offense with Jameis Winston, who was a Heisman winner last year, and we all know that dude got into trouble with all sorts of crab legs. That being said, I'm going to choose Oregon in this football game. Like I said, how many of you watch this is beyond me. And so I'm just going to, say, oh, well, I'm just acting like I have a life here. The Oregon Ducks are going to win that football game probably like 28 to like 20 or 21. The reason I say that, now I don't like to get wrapped up in like what's happened throughout the entire season, but in this one you kind of have to, because Florida State in this one, they come into this game having nail biters against some of the worst teams in their ACC conference, which is already a pretty bad conference in itself. I just do not think that Florida State has more firepower. Last year, Auburn was a miracle team, and they held on to that. Florida State's getting away with bad calls, and they're barely beating ACC opponents. That, to me, is not a championship team. Now, for Oregon's standpoint of view, their defense has been getting better, but it's still awful. That being said, Marcus Mariota, to me, is not going to be a very good NFL quarterback, but I think he's going to be decent. But this is college, man, and I'm telling you, Marcus Mariota is probably going to play quite well in this game. I think Jameis Winston is probably going to make some mistakes. I mean, call me stupid, but I have not seen it from Florida State this year. I didn't see it last year, and Auburn almost beat them, and I had Auburn winning that game, but of course, as we know, the fourth quarter, Jameis Winston led a touchdown drive against the team that was getting miracles all season. Now, for the other side of it, All-State Sugar Bowl, I'm dubbing this game the College Football Playoff Championship this season. And I'm going to tell you why that is. If you put Ohio State against either Oregon or Florida State, Ohio State is going to beat them to the trenches and just completely shatter them. You put Alabama against them, it's the same deal. This will be determining who wins it all, in my opinion. Like I said, it's my opinion, but I have a very strong opinion because I'm a very opinionated person. But Alabama Now, I've been saying Alabama the entire time because I'm an SEC guy, alright? And might remind you, I'm an LSU fan. So for me to say Alabama would be pretty huge for me because I hate Alabama. Even whenever I was a Georgia fan, for crying out loud. But you look at Ohio State, they're really good in the trenches, like the offensive line and the defensive line. Those two teams are possibly going to have one of the best college football games of all time. But I'm going to go low score 27-24. I think there's going to be some field goals in this game. 27-24 Alabama. And it pains me to say that because the reason I say Alabama, they always have good running backs, and they've got a senior quarterback in Blake Sims. Ohio State has got a third-string quarterback, and I don't even know the guy's name anymore. It was like J.T. Barrett, and it was Braxton Miller, well, not in that order. And then you just saw this third-string guy come in there who claims that he's got the best arm in... I always do that. The best arm in college football. That being said, Ohio State is going to lose this game. I wouldn't say by a late field goal, but I think they're going to go down swinging in this one. But Alabama has been consistent all year long. Granted, I know they lost to Ole Miss, but they went back and beat LSU. They beat Mississippi State, who I thought was better than Ole Miss. So they returned to greatness, and to me, it's like Alabama's going to win it. So I think Alabama wins at 27-24. I'm going with Blake Sims, the running game, and the kicker because both defenses are exceptional. But I'm giving the offensive edge to Alabama, and then I'm giving, of course, it's going to come down to a kicking game in the end. 3 touchdowns by both teams, and then 2 late field goals, 27-24 Alabama. And I know I'm probably going to be dead wrong on that because somebody always surprises you in college football. And then after that game, probably on Tuesday, January the 6th, I will come back here and tell you guys what I thought of the games because I will be on vacation. But I will try to get that full WGSB album to you. I'm digressing now. I will get that full WGSB album to you possibly tomorrow if I can. But that's going to be a very, very big if. So hopefully January the 1st, hopefully tomorrow is going to be the WGSB album officially released in its entirety. But due to data issues, it may not be. So I'm going to see you guys later. And I think Alabama and Ohio State, that's going to determine it all. So, Alabama against Oregon. And need I say more? Peace. If you endured through this much of the video, please press like or dislike. And follow me on Twitter. Peace. Here is what just transpired in the Liberty Bowl between Texas A&M and West Virginia. The student assistant coach, Michael Richardson, was thrown out of the game and put into the locker room because he punched a player in the back of the neck. I'm just gonna...